I think this week's Torah portion gives us a very good indication when we compare the Maggid of Zlotchov, a Chassid, and Rabbi Yaakov of Abuhatzeirah, our North African Kabbalist. It gives us a very good indication of what Hasidism is and a prominent role within interpretation. So we have a verse, or this week's Torah portion is about the Metzorah, the leper, and you come to the Kohen comes, right, you've been banished from the camp, you're outside, the Kohen comes to have a look at you, your tzarat, whatever you have on your skin or your clothes is gone away, and if you're fine, then you need to bring 2 birds, and you begin this process of sacrificing and purification. And so we'll start with the Rabbi Yaakov Abuhatzeirah. Rabbi Yaakov looks at this whole verse and says, who is the leper? Who is the Metzorah? He is the person that's full of sin. He is an evil person. And he wants to start by giving us a rule. He says, you should know that a person who does real tshuva, that really returns, becomes a new person, a bria chadasha. You are completely new. He says, how do we know this? Because an evil person, God sits on his throne of din, of judgment. And when you do tshuva, when you return, he then moves and shifts to sit on his throne of mercy, of rachamim, and therefore his outlook onto us is different. We are completely changed. And then he says, what happens to the person that has returned? Why does it say here, Zot Torata Metzorah? This is the law of the Metzorah, because the Torah, which is the Shekhinah, the feminine aspect of God, cleaves to the person, and you are new. And when you are new, you go to the Kohen. Now here's something very interesting I want us to remember when we go to the Maggid soon, to our Chassid. Who is the Kohen for Rabbi Yaakov of Abuhatzeirah? The Kohen is Hashem. Right? This is an allegory. We as sinners, we have returned. The Shekhinah is now with us. We then go to God. We go to the Kohen. And what is this that we bring 2 birds? He says, this is your Yetzer Hara and your Yetzer Rato, your good inclination, your evil inclination. For when you do tshuva, you come before God and you are a new person. You've been able to put the control of the evil inclination under the control of your good inclination. You are very new. So for Rabbi Yaakov, this whole verse is looking at the relationship between God and ourselves, our evil inclination and our positive inclination, and what we're doing. Now let's look at our Chassid. When we look at our Chassid, it's all changed. The Maggid starts, interestingly, by quoting a verse from Genesis that says, let's walk together, we're going to go together on this journey. And he says, we need to understand that this verse is talking about the evil inclination, telling the good inclination, I'm with you on this journey. Even when I try and tempt our body to sin, it's because I want you to help us overcome, because we're in the same boat, and I want you to help purify me. And that sounds a little bit similar to Rabbi Yaakov, right? The idea that once you're a new person, the evil, that the 2 birds, the evil inclination and the good inclination, become one. But then it changes. Then he begins talking what this is all about. And he says, as you know, it's all about doing tshuva. And of course, one of the greatest ways to do tshuva, as we learned last week, is itbodedut, going alone, into the forests or a rooftop or wherever. And when you want to do this, when you want to return, who do you go to? Who all of a sudden becomes, who do you think the Kohen is for the Chassid? It's not God. It's the tzaddik. It's the Rebbe. You need to go to the Rebbe. That's what this Torah portion is talking about. You need to go to your Rebbe. He is going to help as an intermediary, albeit, but he's going to help you. And what are these 2 birds that you bring your Rebbe? These it's helping you the 2 aspects of tshuva. As we know from Maimonides, it is regret and then completely leaving the sin. The Rebbe helps you with this process. And I find this fascinating because we see here 2 verses, both are looking very similarly at the relationship between the evil inclination and the good one, Yetzer Tov, Yetzer Ra. But the Kohen in one is God and in the other is the Chassid. One of the interesting differences between, Jewry in Europe and in North Africa. Thoughts on the Torah portion of Metzorah? Shabbat Shalom.